In the middle of Mexico, there is a massive city built on top of lakes. Its name is Tenochtitlan. Home to hundreds of thousands of people, it is one of the largest cities of its era. This is the heart of the Aztec Empire. And right now, a Spanish commander named Hernán Cortés is advancing toward this city with a few hundred soldiers. In this video, we ask, if a 12-man Delta Force team dropped into this era, could they actually save the Aztecs? Or would history end the exact same way? Cortés does not actually have a huge army. He only has a few hundred Spanish soldiers, but he has horses, steel armor, and primitive firearms called arquebuses. To the Aztecs, none of this has ever been seen before. To a warrior who has never seen a horse, this massive creature carrying a man looks almost like a monster. On top of that, Cortés is not coming alone. He forms alliances with native peoples who hate the Aztecs, like the Tlaxcalans, pulling thousands of warriors to his side. For these tribes who have been crushed under Aztec rule for years, Cortés looks like a savior, though in reality, it is just going to be a shift in power. On the Aztec side, under the rule of Moctezuma, there is a massive, incredibly large army, made up of disciplined, brave warriors who know their own land inside and out. The city itself is surrounded by lakes and causeways, acting like a natural fortress and serving as an ideal location to stop an invading army. They are overwhelmingly superior in numbers, but the technology and alliances in the hands of the Spaniards tilt the balance dangerously. Anyone watching at this point thinks the same thing. Numbers do not matter. The Aztecs are going to lose this war. Right at that moment, a strange flash appears in the sky, and a 12-man Delta Force team finds themselves just outside Tenochtitlan. The team leader quickly assesses the situation, and what they read in history books is now happening right before their eyes. The operators carry modern rifles, night vision devices, and radios that allow instant communication throughout the city. When they enter the city, the Aztecs are initially stunned. They have never seen people who look like this or carry such strange equipment. But seeing no aggression, they accept the operators as friends. The Aztecs are not expecting anything from anyone, neither from the Spaniards nor from these strangely dressed foreigners. They just want to protect their own land. The operators quickly set up a clear plan. Instead of jumping straight into combat, they first reorganize the city's defenses, talk with Aztec commanders to establish observation posts, and predict which routes the Spanish army will use to advance. They turn the narrow causeways and bridges surrounding the city into checkpoints, because these spots serve as natural bottlenecks for the enemy. It looks easy on paper, but on the ground, things do not go that way at all. Cortés's army moves much faster than expected, and together with their native allies, they manage to infiltrate all the way to the outskirts of the city. The operators realize the most critical point right here. This is not just about stopping the Spaniards. If even a single Spanish soldier escapes and reaches his ship to send word back to Spain, a much larger and far better equipped fleet could set sail within a few months. This time, it would not be hundreds, but thousands of soldiers coming. And then neither the Aztec army nor 12 operators could stop a thing. That means winning this battle is not enough. No one can be allowed to escape alive. Once the team realizes this, the plan changes completely. Now the goal is not just to defend the city, but also to take control of the ships at the harbor. The operators split into small groups at night. While one group stays behind for city defense, the others head down to the coast. They launch a coordinated raid alongside Aztec warriors. Thanks to their night vision devices, they can see clearly in the pitch black, while the Spaniards get surrounded before they even realize what is happening. Moving in the dark is a style of warfare these operators are used to, but for people 500 years ago, seeing at night is impossible, giving the operators a massive advantage. The clash gets intense. Aztec archers and spearmen hold the lines marked by the operators, while the operators unleash their firepower at the most critical points. Cortés's army faces resistance they never saw coming and quickly starts to break apart. The battle rages on for hours. Even though Aztec warriors are forced to fall back at certain points, they regroup and counterattack thanks to the defensive lines set by the operators. Cortés never expected his army to encounter such an organized resistance, because no native army he had seen before moved with this level of coordination. At one point, Spanish cavalry tries to push through the narrow city streets, but because the horses cannot maneuver in these tight passages, they suffer massive casualties. The operators were waiting for this exact moment and rain fire onto the most critical choke points. By morning, the outcome is clear. Cortés's army retreats with heavy losses, and the ships at the harbor are set on fire under the operators' orders. Not a single Spanish soldier manages to reach the shore and escape. A massive celebration breaks out in the streets of Tenochtitlan. The Aztec people treat the operators like heroes. Moctezuma thanks them in person, and celebrations go on for days in the city squares. The viewer takes a deep breath at this point, feeling as though the story is going to have a happy ending. But the operators know the job is not done here. Spain will eventually realize this expedition failed, and a new fleet could be prepared, perhaps coming back much larger and far better armed this time. That is why they take action for the ultimate long-term solution. They start teaching modern tactics to the Aztec warriors, showing them how to set ambushes, use communication systems, and organize defensive lines. They set up lookout posts along the coast, creating a simple yet effective early warning system to spot any incoming ships from afar. For several weeks, the city essentially turns into a small military academy, with young warriors learning new methods from morning till night. Aztec commanders absorb this knowledge rapidly, and if they face a similar threat in the future, they will be ready. The operators feel they have completed their mission, believing they changed history and saved the future of the Aztecs. And right at this point, the real problem nobody saw coming emerges. A strange illness begins to spread among the people of Tenochtitlan, who spent weeks in close contact with Cortés's army. At first, a few people show fever and rashes, and then the numbers skyrocket. This is smallpox. It is a virus that has existed in Europe for centuries, one that Europeans have largely built immunity to, but no native people living in the Americas have any immunity against it. Because no European diseases have circulated on this continent for thousands of years, their bodies never learned to fight this kind of threat. Undefeated on the battlefield, the Aztecs now face an enemy they cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot fight back against. When the operators realize what is happening, they are horrified. Their modern tactical knowledge, weapons, and military training are completely useless against this invisible enemy. They do not have vaccines, nor do they have a way to stop an epidemic like this, because the concept of germs is not even known in this era. To make matters worse, having lived side by side with the Aztec people for weeks, they might have unknowingly carried the disease themselves, perhaps catching it from Spanish soldiers during combat and spreading it through the city without realizing it. Day by day, the disease spreads through the city, first hitting hundreds, then thousands. While the streets were once filled with crowds celebrating victory, they are now filled with sick people and children who have lost their families. The victory the operators won on the battlefield means nothing in the face of this invisible enemy. As weeks pass, the population of Tenochtitlan rapidly melts away. The disease shows itself even in Moctezuma's palace, and even the city's most experienced commanders cannot protect themselves from this plague. Some of the young warriors trained by the operators fall ill as well, and none of the tactics they learned work against this enemy. The operators do everything they can, trying to isolate the sick and secure clean water sources. But in an era without modern medicine, these efforts fall short. The team leader logs the status report every night, but the report gets worse with each passing day. In the shadow of the victory it once won against the Spanish army, the city now struggles against a far greater tragedy. In the end, the operators are forced to accept the bitter truth. Every victory won on the battlefield, every message they managed to send, every tactic they taught changes nothing against this disease. Aztec civilization is not defeated by Spanish swords, but by an invisible enemy. Months later, the population of the city has drastically shrunk, and Tenochtitlan, once one of the greatest cities in the world, is now far from its former glory. Even though the operators successfully completed their mission on the battlefield, they are forced to face the reality that they could not change ultimate destiny. In conclusion, modern soldiers can win the battle and the operation, but they cannot save the fate of the Aztecs. At the end of the day, Tenochtitlan still falls. The Aztec Empire is still erased from history, and despite the intervention of modern technology, not a single leaf changes in the cruel flow of history. Click the playlist on the screen to watch similar videos. Do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you in the next What If video.